friends, this is Tony Cañas, and today I want to talk to you about why you should focus on your strengths and point you towards a great tool to do that. And if you're a leader or a manager, it'd be a great idea to focus on your team's strengths because there's many benefits to it. Back in 1998, the Gallup organization discovered people have several times more potential for growth when they invest in developing their strengths instead of correcting their weaknesses. They have since surveyed over 10 million people worldwide on employee engagement, and they have found that only a third strongly agree with the statement, "At work, I have the opportunity to do what I do best every day." In a poll of more than 1,000 people, they found that those who disagreed or strongly disagreed with that statement, not a single one of them was engaged in their job. So basically, if you are not using your strengths every day in your job, the chances that you're engaged in that job are minimal. And same thing with your employees. If they are not using their strengths in their job every day or most days, the chances that they're engaged is absolutely minimal. They also found that people who do agree are 6 times more likely to be engaged. People who do agree with that statement are 6 times more likely to be engaged in their jobs and 3 times more likely to report having an excellent quality of life. So why wouldn't you focus on your strengths? The problem is most of us don't know what our strengths are, right? I was very much in that camp early on in my career, focusing on the wrong things, trying to improve the things that I wasn't good at, chasing the jobs that paid better as opposed to the jobs that I would be happier at and that I would do better at. In fact, only 1% of people whose manager focuses on their strengths are actively disengaged. If you focus on your people's strengths and help them recognize their strengths and help them grow their strengths and find ways in which their strengths can apply to their job or find ways to get them to the right seat on the bus, you have a 99% chance of them being at least somewhat engaged. How can you improve the situation using the StrengthFinders methodology? It's very simple. You buy the book. The book's like 20 bucks, and the book gives you a code. You go online with that code, and you take an online assessment that takes like half an hour, maybe less, and you get a strengths discovery and action planning guide. As you can see, is pretty sizable. I would say 30-some pages to actually learn and take advantage of your strengths. This will keep you from making the mistake that most people make. Most people devote much more time and energy to overcoming their weaknesses than they do to growing their strengths. And this is exactly the wrong way to grow. Basically, we have data. This is empirically proven that doing it that way, focusing on improving your weaknesses, is the path of most resistance. You're much better off focusing on the path of least resistance to grow your skills, which is focusing on your strengths. So the whole maxim that you can be anything you want to be if you just try hard enough, it's exactly the wrong advice. The research is clear that people do much better when they focus on building who they are. They're also much happier when they focus on building on who they already are. So you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. My results from StrengthFinders, my top 5 themes are competition, significance, achiever, learner, and input. Out of the 34 strengths that the test tests for, those are my top 5. So what exactly does that mean? Well, basically you get a theme description, a description to help you learn about what each of them is. Also, you get some questions to kind of help you think through how it's played out in your career and how it might play out in your career in the future for each of the strengths. And then where it gets really cool is it gives you ideas for action on how to apply each of the strengths and ideas on how to find the right positions that will make the most of those particular strengths. So for me, it was really life-changing. And the first time I did it, I was in the middle of really awesome finance program at which I sucked horribly. And this helped me figure out that I was a much better match for sales or sales management type roles. And I went, after failing out of the finance role, I went in that direction. It absolutely paid off. It is really, really, really a useful way to get to know what kind of roles you should go for and how to be successful in those roles. Most people think that they know what they're good at. They're usually wrong. And yet a person can perform only from strength. That is a quote from Peter Drucker, a business guru, I believe a Harvard business professor, Harvard MBA professor, I don't remember, but yeah, a business guru. Something interesting to understand is that StrengthFinders is a bit of a misnomer because it doesn't actually measure strengths. It measures talents that might or might not have been developed yet. And the goal is to point you towards the right talents that you have and help you build on them to turn them into actual strengths. So a pre-strength finder, basically, is a better way to put it. The most successful people start with talent and then add skill, knowledge, and practice and let their natural talent act as a multiplier. And in many cases, even being aware of what they term your lesser talents, which really kind of means your what in the corporate world we usually will call opportunities, but really your weaknesses. And just being aware of what your talents are and what your lesser talents are can help you find the roles at which you will be much better. Avoid the ones in which you likely will not be that successful because they're just not natural fits for you. So I highly recommend StrengthFinders for absolutely everybody. And if you feel like you haven't really found your place yet, or if you're just starting your career and you're in the industry, maybe you have a risk management major or whatever, but you haven't really found your place within the industry, this is a great place to start. Thank you. Hope this was helpful.